Welcome, Sojourners, to the Women's Leadership Mindset Series presented by Teresa K. Page, LLC. My name is Teresa Page. I am your host and looking forward to spending these next few moments with all of you. We have a lot of work to get done on today, but first, allow me to invite you to connect with me by subscribing to my website and YouTube channel. Connect and follow me on LinkedIn, and always feel free to contact me directly via email at teresakpagellc@outlook.com. So what is our goal? Well, as an author, speaker, coach, and mentor, my mission is to help professional women renew their leadership mindset with fresh fire and purpose through the mediums of leadership development and coaching services. However, the Women's Leadership Mindset Series is a new initiative intended to spotlight powerful women leaders and how they serve the world through their professions and purpose. So with the goal to help women realize their unfulfilled dreams and re-energize the leaders they always were, this platform is designed to enhance, empower, educate, equalize, and even emancipate, as our special guests share their entrepreneurial stories, provide valuable resources, and guidance in a caring, professional, and impactful manner. So, let's get down to business. Well, all right. In today's video, it is my pleasure to welcome to my virtual stage Amanda Russell Boyd, Director and co-founder of LegalShield and Jelly Social of Mississauga, Ontario. Amanda is an independent associate with a 50-plus-year-old company, LegalShield, that offers a portfolio of legal and identity theft services protecting families, small businesses, and commercial drivers' legal rights and identities. She specializes in the small business and employee benefit division of her company, wherein she offers voluntary employee benefits at no out-of-pocket expense to the employer and helps business owners affordably protect their businesses. Amanda also founded We Can Network in 2012 and is one of the co-founders of Jelly Social, which is a nonprofit organization that is breaking down racial barriers in entrepreneurship and creating opportunities for Black, Indigenous, and people of color entrepreneurs to succeed on their own terms, in their own voice, without compromise. The organization's approach involves the 3 C's: community, connection, and collaboration. Amanda always has been a people person. She loves helping others and is furiously passionate about fighting for people's rights. But it's not just about legal services. She is on a mission to level the playing field for small business owners, particularly within the Black, Indigenous, and people of color community. She wants to create a platform that empowers, a space that offers resources, networking opportunities, and fosters collaborations. She's here to give back and to help others live life freely and to their fullest potential as she builds our empires together. Inspire, believe, and achieve. That's her motto. It's not just a tagline, it's a value system that permeates every aspect of her business operations. So to contact Amanda, you can reach her on her websites at amandarussell.legalshieldassociate.com, as well as www.jellysocial.ca. You may connect with her on email at amandarussellppl@gmail.com. Give her a call at 416-320-0256. You may also connect with her on social media, on LinkedIn at Amanda Russell, as well as on Instagram at Amanda Connect. And also, please feel free to book a Zoom discovery meeting at calendly.com/Amanda Connects. So we'll bring all of this information back along with Amanda's free gift before we go. But first, I want to say welcome, Amanda. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. And thank you so much for the amazing introduction, Teresa. You are fantastic. So, doing well.
Uh,
Yeah, it's been a busy start to the year, but taking in, embracing it all.
Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So I'm so excited about our conversation on today. I know that we have recently connected not too long ago in this virtual networking space. And I know that you are creating that community for networking as well. And that's something that's going to be a part of our conversation. So we can't wait to hear about it. So we're going to go ahead and jump right on in and let's get down to business. So why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Amanda. I wrestle Boyd, as you mentioned. I am a mom of two, so I have an 8-year-old daughter and a 9-month-old son that's currently sleeping. So hopefully, thank the Lord, he's sleeping right now. I'll see how long he lasts. So I've been kind of introduced to the whole business world. Like my dad's been an entrepreneur his entire life. So I think growing up in a very entrepreneurial house, we got to see, the way of him being able to set his schedule, being here for the kids, the flexibility that entrepreneurship provides. So, I went to school, did the thing, went to good school, got good grades, came out, did the whole university thing, found a corporate job, and it was cool. Like, I followed the system, right? Did all the things. But then, it's still that drive that I said, the entrepreneurial blood in me, or the spirit, just knowing with that there's more, right? Then I'm not putting a lid on it. And this is where I was introduced to the company called LegalShield about 14 years ago. And my background being like in events and marketing, like I love the whole mission, being able to help people. I'm going to university. I wanted to do the law course. When I saw how big those textbooks were, I'm like, you know what? Let me do business administration instead. So I went that route. But I was almost like fight for the people, that kind of movement. And when I got involved with Legal Shield, I just loved the whole mission and vision that they had created, that we're really here to level the playing field and make legal services affordable to everybody. So it's no longer a system that we're priced out of. Because as we know, the traditional model, the color of justice system is not black or white, it's green. The more money you have, the more access you have. And we just want to flip the switch and like change that narrative. So this is where I was really attracted, to their whole mission. And I'm like, wow, now I can actually help people. Don't have to do the law degree, but now I can help broker lawyers and like help people get in contact to gain more affordable action or access, I should say, to their legal rights. Because they say in this crazy world, you don't have any. So I went along my mission and, went and started building the business. And this is where I was like, how the heck do you meet people out here? And I was introduced to networking. I think, coming from corporate, I don't know about you, but I'm like, I never knew networking was a thing. So I was like, oh, networking. They don't teach you this in school, right? So I just went out to, I think, every networking group possible out in the Ontario area, here in the Toronto area, and really adopted my own model. So I was able to start our own events about 13 years ago now. So through the weekend network, meeting in person, we'd have 20, 30 people in the room. And we introduce who they are, what they do, how we can support one another, share services, share products. And honestly, that's how I was able to build my business very organically, building relationships. Then we decided, I met a gentleman named Sanjeet, and he had a beautiful office in our Mississauga area here. And for the folks that are no Toronto area, Toronto's really far. So to be able to travel downtown was like over an hour. Always got a parking ticket. So I'm like, let's do it more local. We stuck to like our local area here and started networking with community. But we decided to start a new kind of group called Jelly Social. So with Jelly Social, we were able to, help support BIPOC entrepreneurs just gain more visibility. We call it the BIPOC tax, saying that, but unfortunately, BIPOC entrepreneurs, we have more barriers that we're faced with. And this is where we want to be able to be in a safe environment, safe community where we can like share. I'm like, take off the sales hat. This is with our Jelly Social movement, put on the collaboration hat. Let's see how we can truly help and serve one another with the products and services that we offer. And we built that community, which has been amazing over the past 13 years as well. And now, due to the pandemic, we had to shift online. So here we are on Zoom, being able to connect with the folks. And now we've actually shifted our direction, just focusing more on storytelling and seeing how we can help support entrepreneurs with crafting their brand story. We always say, like, we all have such a powerful story in us. That's why I think what you're doing today is amazing because you get to know the human behind the business and, sharing your why, your purpose, your passion, and using our jelly bot to help craft our story. We can better share it when you're in a networking room and you feel more confident, in rooms going out there and sharing who it is and what you do. So this is where we'll be able to, connect. So that's why I love Legal Shield. So I'm like, hey, let me empower small businesses, families, individuals, affordable access to legal rights. On the flip side, creating a community where we can all engage, belong, share services, and really support one another because we're all on this journey together. Sorry, it's a long-winded answer, but that's what I do.
Well, thank you so much for giving us some insight, Amanda, and I look forward to kind of digging a little bit deeper into the things that you're doing. I love some of the things that you shared that you grew up in a household of that entrepreneurship is in your blood. And so I just would like to ask as far as when
I get
you
them in.
got that bite or the bug of entrepreneurship bit you, would you say that you have, and especially as an individual that has come out of the corporate space where there is a sense of, I don't know, stability, knowing that there's a specific check that's coming and all of that kind of good stuff, versus kind of the tumultuous terrain of entrepreneurship? Can you
Yes.
talk about why you prefer entrepreneurship as far as what's unpredictable about entrepreneurship, but still very exciting versus the stability and the predictability of working in a corporate space? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, sure. Yeah. And you know what? I learned the hard way, unfortunately, the life of hard knocks, as they say, right? Where, coming from corporate, I get it, right? It's nice to have that cushy job. When your checks are coming in, you have the biweekly. But I think it's just, you're under so much I don't say dictatorship, but like someone had told me in the corporate job, being in administration, that I'm basically a parasite, that I'm not a
Wow.
salesperson, I'm an administrator. So I'm a parasite because administrators, we take away from the business, we don't add. So I think from the time that comment was made, I was like, oh, okay. So I see my value here.
Wow.
Like you guys just think of us as a number. And the fact that you just called me a parasite, it was just like, okay, it's so toxic, right? Time to see and explore other options. And this is where I was involved with LegalShield. So I was doing it part time, spare time. But I think with entrepreneurship, you don't have to deal with people like that, first of all. You get to choose who you want to work with. And there's no lid. We have the opportunities all really up to us. And that could be pro or con, right? It's all up to the activity that we do. And that was a huge learning lesson for me because I think I may have quit the job a little bit prematurely. They say that, in entrepreneurship, you should be building your business. That's your fortune, right? So even though you do the job 9 to 5, hey, that's cool. But then work on your business as a business, treat it as a business, not a hobby. And this is where when I did the shift and I quit my job and I dived right into Legal Shield, they call it dangerous directors. Because when you start making more money on your lunch break, you're like, what am I doing at this job? Right? So I'm like 8 hours and I barely made whatever, the commission I made through Legal Shield. So that's where, it gave me the posture, gave me the confidence to make the shift out. So I did take the leap of faith, quit the job, went into Legal Shield full time. But this is where I learned where someone has shared with me, Amanda, when anyone is in a job situation, as you're working on your business, you should be saving up 6 months of whatever your salary is. Save up, save up. And then as soon as you get to 6 months of savings, then start seeing if you could live off your business income for another 6 months and then start banking your job income for another 6 months. So that way you have a year of savings. And I'm like, oh, so you tell me this a year after I quit my job and I struggled and figured out the hard way because I was going out there connecting with everybody, buying people lunches. I had no money to buy them people lunches. Like, trying to find money for gas in my car. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing right now? Right. So I read through that, the struggle and pain. I'm sure other entrepreneurs feel at the beginning of your business. And this is where I was able to say, okay, I did 3 months networking, networking, networking. I was meeting with 3, 4 people a day, driving all around the city to all different towns. And by the third month, I'm like, man, I think I'm going to throw in the towel and go back to the job, man, because this is not paying off right now. Then all of a sudden, everybody that I was connecting with start calling me like, oh, Amanda, this Legal Shield thing makes sense. I'm ready. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't have to, go back to the corporate world right now. So this where it showed me that I had it's just the numbers, right? It's just making sure that I'm doing the activity and plugging in and following up and connecting with people and having faith in myself, my business, the work that we're doing, and it all come together. So it's definitely a roller coaster ride. It's not for the weak, right? Because this is where it's the up downs all around, where you question every aspect of what you're doing all the time. But then at the end of the day, I think it's just more rewarding knowing that I'm giving back to community, helping community, and then knowing how I'm serving my members that have seen the value in Legal Shield. And when I'm hearing their success stories and their testimonials of how we've truly helped and reduced that stress level for them because of a service now that they never had access to, and just knowing how to legally navigate any given situation, it would became so rewarding and so much more powerful, where it really is more than just us, right? I think it's doing more for the community on a global side, or whatever that might look like for people, individuals, well, however big or small. But I think just connecting with people, with being here for the whole human experience and seeing how we can help serve humanity, I think that's most rewarding to any entrepreneur doing what we do, because we all give back in our own way. And I think that's why a lot of people turn to entrepreneurship. It's just much more rewarding at the end.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you for taking us on that journey with
Yeah.
you. And absolutely, I totally agree about the whole having 6 to 12 months worth of income kind of set aside and those kind of things before you jump into the water. But you know what? It did work out for you. Month 3, it did work out for you. And you said you did take that leap of faith. Can you talk just a little bit? And we're going to get further into our conversation, but just pause for just a second and talk to us why having that leap of faith or having faith to jump into entrepreneurship, why that is such a big deal.
It is because you're leaving all the comforts behind, all the security to jump into all the insecurities, to all the unknown, because it's not guaranteed, right? You don't know when your next paycheck per se is coming, unless you got the momentum kind of growing and going in your business. So I would say even the first couple of years is scary, right? Just to get going. But I think having that faith that it's bigger than me. This is something that you feel that passion about, that what, I have to do it for me, to serve others, for the family, knowing the possibility of what I can create if I really do focus and put my everything into it. And for me, it's my children. Having 2 young ones, I want to create a legacy that at some point they can do what they want, where money is no longer a worry or option. We don't have to worry about where the money's coming. So my goal is to create a financial security, if you may, have such a thing. But just making sure that we have enough in the bank. So I'm like, hey, however my kids need to do, whatever they want to travel, explore the world, we can do that. They don't have to worry how. I want to remove the how. I just want to be like, hey, now we've developed a system and a business that we have the income flowing in that can support their dreams, their movements, and then give back to like charity and community and organization. So as I say, until we, like the whole airplane analogy, we have to put the mask on ourselves first in order to help others. So this is where I feel like, as entrepreneurs, we provide so much opportunity for folks, and then showing people, like being that light to say, hey, whatever it is, it's possible. We're all going through a similar struggle, but at the end of the day, we know it's rewarding. And I think that having that faith in ourselves, in the universe and God, saying, thank you, you're leading me the way. I'm going to trust in this purpose. I'm going to trust in this mission, and just like dive all in. As they say, no toe dipping, right? You got to dive all in and get it done.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I absolutely love that. Uh, I love that whole idea about financing your children's dreams. So I think that's pretty awesome, and removing the how. So I think that's great. So we're going to talk a little bit more about Legal Shield for just a moment, and we have two sides to talk to you about, Legal Shield as well as your organization, We Can and Jelly Social. So we're going to start with a little bit about Legal Shield. Now, you do work in the small business and employee benefit division with Legal Shield. Can you talk to us, and especially as from an entrepreneurial point of view? A lot of times we, as entrepreneurs, we may not necessarily need, believe, or think right off as you're building your business that having some type of legal protection is necessary,
Right.
especially right at the very beginning. Can you talk to us as far as from the entrepreneurial point of view and from the small business point of view, why having legal protections is so important, even while you're building your business? Can you talk to us about that?
Oh, 100%. Yes. And that's why I love working with small business owners, startups, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. I think, especially as you get going, they say there's three important people that you need, right? A good lawyer, a good insurance, a good accountant. Just as like the mandate around your business to say, you're building that legal wall of protection and making sure you have the right experts in your corner to help guide you every step of the way. Because as entrepreneurs, especially if you move from employee to entrepreneur, it's a whole new world. So just knowing how to set up your business legally. Are you going to do it like a corporation? What are the pros and cons? Soulpreneurship, partnership, knowing what that entails, even a nonprofit, for profit, nonprofit, social enterprise. What does that all mean? And where is your business? What is the direction that you want to take your business? So really mapping that out and then being able to talk to a lawyer and just find out, how to legally navigate in any of those situations is so important because you're creating the foundation of your business. You don't want to start with cracks. We have to go back and like patch it up later. So that's why I say, as you're starting off in business, even developing contracts. Now, for the folks that are like coaches or they're hiring on other consultants or other contractors, like what does that look like? So even helping you develop those contracts that's going to protect you now, one legally, and then two, I think it just keeps everybody transparent, right? Everybody knows what the expectations are on the table. There are no surprises. If any of the clients come back and you question you, like, hey man, we all signed off on this contract. It's all in the fine print here. And that's what we say, even when we're signing contracts for other people, the fine print, take it away. If you don't know what's in that fine print, that could be a whole loss for you. So I would say on both sides, as you're building your business, making sure you have solid contracts. And on the other side, if you're receiving contracts, making sure you have a lawyer to review that for you. Because if you have a brick and mortar business, you have a lease agreement, as a tenant, what are some of the stipulations in there? I know I have a good friend. She just took over a lease, and she does a co-working space. And she's like, man, this landlord has a piece of work, right? They're totally taking advantage of her. Like, girl, like you have a LegalShield membership, use a lawyer, right? You talk to your attorney, make sure you find out because like she got people to paint the place and then all of a sudden the paint cans are all gone and she has stuff missing and then all these
Oh,
extra things. So I'm like, she's like, okay, I think it's time to call LegalShield, right? So there's only so much one should tolerate. But this is where I think it gives you that legal posture now, especially as a small business owner, knowing that, you know what, we know that the cost of lawyers, attorneys are $300-400 an hour, if not more. As a business owner, you're starting off, your costs are already high. You're like, you're just getting through the door, just launching your business. You don't have any more money, thousands of dollars to pour into a lawyer. So this is where it kind of removes that barrier now where you're like, oh my gosh, just to be super transparent, we have a small business plan starting at $49 where they're like, for $50, you mean I can talk to a lawyer, get unlimited advice, consultation, document review. They'll help me with trademarking, copywriting, creating forms, documents, and so much more. So this is where I'm like, yes, you can get all those things. And now you don't have to worry about how much it's going to cost you every time you have a question. Our attorneys are here to help serve you. And that just brings, I think, a lot of stress for removing that from the business owner because you already have so many other hats you're wearing, so many other, things that you're dealing with. The last thing you wanted to deal with on a legal, standpoint, gosh, now how do I navigate in this situation? So I would say it's better than asking Google, family, or friends. Now you can tap the app, pick up the phone, and then you're just empowered with legal advice. And we know laws are changing all the time. So just keeping on top of that and knowing that you're maneuvering the right way. And if anything should occur, you have your law firm in the top, like the palm of your hands. Tap the app and be able to talk to them and get that peace of mind and know how to navigate any given situation. I think it's so empowering, especially for a small business owner. And if you're growing your team, handbooks, right? You need employee handbooks, HR handbooks, things like that. How do we do this? That's not our specialty. So this is where you really need to recruit the experts, they say, in your field. We know what we do, what we specialize in, but you need to recruit a team to help you with everything else.
I love that about recruit the experts. That is so
Yeah.
important.
Oh,
And
yeah.
thank
I
you
know. We
so
have so
much.
many things. Oh, you're welcome. Great question. Thank you for asking.
Awesome, awesome. And thank you for laying that out because all of these things that you spoke of from the HR perspective, the contract perspective, just having overall good protection all the way around as a new business, or even if you're more mature in business, is so important. So thank you for giving us some insight. I really love the fact that you mentioned earlier that you wanted to go to law school, or you wanted to be in law, and you figured out a way to kind of align still that aspiration
Yeah.
with LegalShield. Do you feel that you are missing anything from not pursuing after law, but still having an opportunity to help protect the community that you serve with these type of legal protections?
I think it's actually a greater advantage being involved with LegalShield because now we have access to full service law firms. So 26 lawyers on staff, every area of law. Whereas lawyers, they typically go to school just like a doctor. You specialize in the area, whether it be contract, immigration, family, employment. You might do two or three, but there's always so many people I could serve. Whereas now I can be that solution for people to be like, hey, you need a lawyer, you need an attorney. This is what we could do, and we're here to problem solve. So I think this is even a better way to help service the community. I've talked to other lawyers, and they were actually joined Legal Shield, and they've created more income in Legal Shield and reduced the overhead. There's another lady that's making like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year right now with Legal Shield, and she had three law firms. So they closed down all three law firms. She's like, the overhead costs I had to pay, the lease, the maintenance, the employees, whereas Legal Shield removed all of that. Now she's like, I can still help the people, get them connected to law firms all across like 49 states in the US, 4 provinces in Canada. And now she can build a team that could help more people just based on volume. And this is how we're here to help serve the community. And she just sees the value. She's made more money now and Legal Shield versus being a lawyer. So just even seeing her testimony, I was like, wow, okay, so this is a great choice. Being able to utilize, a system that's been created over 50 now years in the US and now over 20 in Canada. So
Well,
I think
that's
it's a great
awesome.
solution.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So thank you for giving us some insight. So now,
Yeah.
Amanda, you did share that as you were building your business with Legal Shield, that maybe about month 3, things started to kick in for you because you were doing some aggressive networking, building
Mhm.
community, and all of that. And so we're getting ready to now shift into your networking space, the work that you do as far as networking and creating community. So talk to us a little bit about Weekend as well as Jelly Social, and why these are so important as far as being able to build community, and why networking is such a success for entrepreneurs.
I would say, especially entrepreneurs, one, building community was important to me because it was a way to meet with other entrepreneurs that was in a similar space, going through a similar journey, and just learning from them. Because me being a newbie entrepreneur back then, I'm just understanding how to navigate in this new world. And I believe, community is everything. Just being able to tap into other experts because we all come from different backgrounds, different fields. So be able to share that expertise has been huge. And then building your own community, people get to really know you. The whole know you like you, trust you, right? You build those relationships. And if you're the host of the event, this is where it's kind of like a lead generation system in a way too. It's a top funnel where it's a lead generation. They say, hosting like workshops, even like podcasts, like networking events. If you're the host of it, everyone gets to know you. And then you became that source, like center of influence, if you may. And organically, you meet one by one as you build community. Folks that have hosted networking events where they're so grateful. They're like, thank you for offering this space that we can come together as entrepreneurs and share our services, share our products, build the confidence to be able to speak like, yeah, about myself, about my company. Like, we just had an event yesterday, and the gentleman that joined us, he's like, man, I'm such an introvert, right? He's like, I'm a recovering introvert. I'm really trying to get out there. I'm like, well, how many networking events have you gone to? He's like, this is my first one. He's like, I know I have to get out there. I know I have to represent and put my stuff out there, but it's just so nerve wracking. I think public speaking, as they say, is the number one fear, right? And even me, like, even though I threw many events, back in the day, even getting in front of a group of people, still, you have that heart racing moment. But I believe that, helps you, one, build a community. People get to know you. They might not be the ideal client for you in the room, but everybody knows at least a minimum 100 people. So within that, they say they'll be able to be a better referral partner for you. So this is through the collaboration, where as you build a relationship, I was able to build a great referral network where people know me. They might not necessarily have LegalShield, and that's cool, but they know people that need our service and they refer people to me. And this is where it was been a game changer, where now I can help serve people on both ends. So working with small businesses and then helping with referrals, because they get to know me and they're like, hey, I know I can trust you with my person. So, that you'll help them and you help them with whatever solutions or whatever matters they're dealing with. And this is where I really promote to all entrepreneurs to connect and go out to networking groups, because this one helps you build your confidence, help you find that voice, and help you share, who you are and why you're doing what you do, and really connect with people that can help make a difference and build new friendships that will lead you along the way. Because you never know who you're going to meet, right? Where that next opportunity might come up as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I like the fact that in your bio a little earlier, you mentioned that you do have a particular heart for the BIPOC community or
Yes.
the Black, Indigenous, and people of color community and entrepreneurs and all of that. And I like the way you said that you want this particular community to succeed on their own terms in their own voice without compromise. I
Yes.
absolutely love that. So can you talk to us a little bit more about why the BIPOC community is such a target for you and why that's such a soft spot in your heart? Can you talk to us a little bit more about that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I think because I've been out to so many different networking events, when I started We Can Network, I just said it as it is. I'm like, let me call a group, We Can Network, come together and we will network, right? And then with Jelly Social, when I met Sanjeet, him being from Indian background, myself, my family's originally from Trinidad. So I'm half Chinese, half Indian and mix up. So then my husband's Jamaican. So being able to, like, I come from a BIPOC world where, being able to see like people of color, we go through certain struggles, right? There's so many folks that, even though we, like in Canada here, we have what they call the Black North Initiative, but at the same time, they say they're doing the thing, but like we don't see people of color coming up in as many leadership roles as they should be in the corporate standpoint. So this is where with Jelly Social, we decided to change the focus a little bit. And when the pandemic hit, when we went online, we're like, you know what? We want to focus our attention on BIPOC community, BIPOC entrepreneurs, like more exclusively. Like, everybody's welcome, allies are welcome, but we just want people to be more conscious as to where they're spending their dollars. So, by supporting a BIPOC business, you're helping to support, somebody that may have not had the advantage from before, where we can help them succeed just by being mindful where we're spending and supporting local, and like showing and sharing the struggle that, Black, Indigenous, people of color, each of us have gone through our, a life situation, where we're like, man, how do you get out of this, right? These narratives. So just changing the narratives and showing people and educating folks that may not be BIPOC as well, I think is huge, because we need everybody to be invited to the table to be able to have these conversations and seeing how we can better support one another. Like in Jelly Social, I say, if everybody looks like you, right? This is where we have to diversify our feed, diversify, who we're connecting with, because we need to learn about each other's cultures, backgrounds, ethnicities. Like, diversity could be so many things, not just ethnicity. It could be like, I'm a mom, my background is marketing. There's so many different areas that we can bring to the table and just shed that light. And I think, by doing that, we can help eliminate some of the barriers that BIPOC people are just simply faced with. And unfortunately, it's still the narrative today, but we just want to, again, be a little bit more conscious and see how we can support our people in rising up together and being successful and having more, BIPOC and people of color in leadership positions, and especially in small business as well, and really helping to fuel their growth and success. I think that's so important to really make a difference in this world and the community as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you so much for that commitment. I will share that, Amanda, I'm not sure what the dynamics may be there in Ontario, but here in the States,
Yeah.
we have new administration now, and so there is a lot of kind of upsets with certain
Um,
organizations that's rolling back some of their diversity, equality, as well as their
mhm.
inclusion policies with
Right.
their organizations. And in a lot of ways, it's creating a space of uncertainty, to say it
Right.
lightly. So what would you say? Well, what would you give? Even though this might feel like a bumpy time
Mhm.
in our road as far as on the road of democracy, I still believe that this is a great opportunity, especially um, for business owners within the BIPOC community, whether they're Black, Indigenous, or just people of color. I believe this can be a wonderful time, or at least an area of opportunity where Black-owned, Indigenous, or people of color organizations can really shine.
Mhm.
In tumultuous times like this, or uncertain times like this, what would you say would be um, some steps that organizations that have people of color who are the leaders of those organizations, how can they take full advantage of this particular moment? Maybe just one or two tips to take advantage of this particular moment.
Well, I would say collaboration, finding other communities similar, that we can band together, right? And having the strength in numbers, I think, is one. I know with myself, like I'm doing a collaborative right now with the Black Women Collective and another organization, Empowered for X, and the African Caribbean Business Network. And being able to come together as a community, to better, put people in rooms that they may necessarily have the opportunity to be in that room. So I think we need to be in more rooms, to be honest, and giving people the opportunities and the resources to be able to help lift them up and creating a stronger community to strengthen each other, knowing that I think what it comes down to simply is resources and support and visibility, and having these conversations where people, that are not BIPOC, the allies, where they can see that, wow, these people are doing such incredible work. How can I get involved to help? How can I get involved to support? And we're no longer living in our silos. This is where, like, my background being West Indian, where even the Caribbean people, I found, we operate in silos. So there's like Jamaican, Trinidad, the islands, everyone for the island people. But it's like, how come we can't move like the Jews, right? Why come we can't come together as a one people and start working together and supporting each other, referring business, doing business, like, helping to do that collaborative effort. So I had started a group a couple of years ago called West Indians Unite, where helping again change that narrative and showing folks like, why can't we come together instead of that whole crab barrel syndrome? We all are, here doing the do so that we can support our family, support community. So we just need to hold ourselves accountable. Like, what are we doing to make a difference right now in our, BIPOC communities? Are we actually supporting local? Are we actually supporting BIPOC communities? What are you doing to create relationships and conversations? And like a platform like yours, being able to help amplify these voices to share, what is their struggle? What is their mission? What is their ask? How can we better support them? And having, I think, more conversations and more opportunities like this to be able to share that message, just created like an awakening, I would hope, especially through these times. Like DEI was such an important factor for so many companies a couple years ago, but now it's like we're post pandemic. Now, the shift in narrative is again changing. And this is where some folks think it still brought them apart. People still operate in the silos. But I think it's still important because conversations that weren't had were starting to be had at the tables, especially in corporate rooms where, that unbiased and there's still racial things happening, but it's very undercover, especially in Canada. There's so much racism out here, but everybody's just more secretive about it. They know how to
Wow.
conceal it so much better. But so I think by bringing it to light, at least the people can be like, wow, oh, like check themselves. Like, am I saying the things or doing the things that's making people of color like feel away, or not understanding like this narrative of what they're doing is actually, yeah, you are kind of a little bit, yeah, the racialness there, and calling them
Absolutely.
out. So people need to be held accountable, right? And I think holding people accountable to themselves and to others and community is so important. So hopefully through conversation, through community, and having more or like conversations like this, people will start awakening and really check themselves, like, okay, like what can I do to be better, do better, right? And be able to share the message.
Absolutely. I do think that this is the perfect time for that awakening, and especially
Yeah.
being able, as you mentioned, that collaboration, understanding that there is strength in numbers and, being able to collab. So we do have access to support local organizations as well as helping one another find access to resources, because I think that's a huge big deal as far as capital and funding and all that other kind of things. And
100%.
that visibility is so important. So learning to want to get together, as well as being able to rely upon our
Mhm.
allies, I think that is so important. So thank you so for laying that out for us. Now, Amanda, as we prepare to downshift in our conversation, and I'm really enjoying our conversation
Yeah,
today.
yeah, it's awesome.
Yes. So as you know, this is the Women's Leadership Mindset Series podcast, and personally, I believe that every woman is a leader that has a controlling influence either over a particular domain, a cause, a people, a territory, or a region. I love asking this question for every
Yeah.
guest that I have thus far on this podcast. In your own words, what kind of leader would you say that you are?
Hopefully inspiring, I would like to say. With my team, I think the word that I get all the time is like, wow, you really inspire me to show that, it's possible. Like just see me, I think on the Zoom with my 8-month-old. I'm like, hey man, we're doing business and baby. Whatever's going to get done. I learned the hard way with my daughter. I took a step back in my business, and it really took me like 3 years to rebuild the momentum that I had. So I'm like, okay, now 8 years later, I'm like, all right, we're gonna do this again. All right, business and baby, let's go. So took a month off in the beginning, healed, and now I'm like, all right, son, let's go. So I'll be on the Zooms, hosting the meetings, connecting with people, starting up our members, all with baby in arms, feeding, changing. And I think, Zoom changed the game and the pandemic. There's some pros and cons, but the pro is I think that everybody was able to see that we can do business at home. We can work anywhere. Being able to connect like this online, like, from you being in the US, me in Canada, even globally, it shows that we are, can connect on a different level now, which is awesome. It gives us so much more opportunity. And when I meet with folks, like, wow, okay, you just inspire me that I can still go, especially for women entrepreneurs. I think that sometimes as women, we think we need to make that sacrifice as mothers, and we have to choose one or the other, business or baby. But I'm like, no, man, we're doing both. So I'm doing business for baby at the end of the day, right? So I'm like, sure, it's finding that balance in between. If right now in my world, I don't know if there's such a thing, but I think that's so important to show other, especially women leaders, that you can take the initiative. You can still live your life and be passionate about what you're passionate about. Family being also a priority. Like the whole, we have another leader in our organization. The whole thing is family, faith, and finance. Faith, family, finance, and being able to do all. Why not? Right. So again, it's me versus me kind of mentality. So it's just finding a way to get it done, and every day finding that motivation as you rise up to be like, okay, we're going to tackle this day, right? So making that plan of action, and baby's coming along with me. So we make it work. So I would hope to inspire, especially my team, to show, hey, it is possible. Because now I'm a regional manager with LegalShield. Like we have something called Performance Club. I've been in it for over 104 months. So showing people, hey, I can keep going and achieving these goals and meeting these milestones with my children, with my family, and all the other demands that come with it. So So it's just, yeah, it's up to us. Get it done.
Awesome, awesome. I absolutely love that. That gives a whole new meaning to B2B, business
Yeah.
and baby.
Right, right. Exactly. I love it.
A whole new meaning. That's pretty cool. Now, speaking of babies and business and babies, and I know that you kind of detailed why you do what you do for your family a little earlier in our conversation. So, for future generations, how will future generations benefit from the work that you are doing today?
I would say for future generations, we want to lay out the groundwork where for when it's their time that they'll have affordable access, one, to the legal system, that we eventually want LegalShield to become a household name. Like people look at it like a legal insurance. So I kind of want to help be the pioneer to help achieve that goal. To make sure that everybody, no matter what your background, your circumstance, where you come from, how much money you have in your pocket, this is where you have access to affordable legal device. You have access to your rights, to that legal posture, to know that whether it be in business or personal, that we're here to help, right? And this is where I think giving that peace of mind, providing the solution. And two, I think showing future generations the importance of networking, right? Building a business that they can call their own. So I'm like, hey, go to school, get a good job, do the thing. But then at the same time, you should be building a business on the side that you're passionate about, that really speaks to you. Because God forbid, we don't know how, job security is a thing of the past. We no longer work for companies for over 20 years. You're there like 3 to 5 years these days. You're lucky if before they go bankrupt or move, or get right size, downsize, shifted out, whatever they call it these days. But I think this is where it shows the new generation. And I think they're really growing up with the mindset with like being like these influencers and TikTokers, like it's a whole new way where these were never titles before. Like these were never positions. Where with the AI changing the game too, it shows them that, being a small business owner has so much more possibility, and now showing them like how networking can be that game changer for them and building that confidence, guys, especially for like women leaders. It's just really instilling that confidence in us that we can we can do everything that we set our mind to be, to do, to have. And hopefully, with the new ones on the rise up, they'll see with all the work that we're doing as entrepreneurs and leaders, and it will encourage them and inspire them to hopefully do the same and make this world a better place where we will actually have an inclusive society and no longer live in silos. So I just hope that is, something that happens in the future where we're not still going through all these biases.
Absolutely. And you know what? That kind of leads into my next question because being able to dismantle certain biases, I think that the effective power of love is the exact way to do that. And as you know, I am, as far as my organization, that I am passionate about employing love as that ultimate
Yeah.
success factor to renew women's leadership mindset with fresh fire and purpose. So I personally believe, as far as everything that you have spoke on today about community, collaboration, all of that, dismantling um, biases as well as create an inclusive society. I believe that love is that game changer.
I
I
love it.
believe love gives us that competitive edge so that we are innovative in our businesses and that we're powerful as leaders, that we're present for our teams and our families, and that we're knowledgeable in our expertise as well as benevolent in our community service. So as we
Mhm.
prepare to come to the close of our podcast, how would you say that love has tangibly shaped you as the inspiring leader that you are?
I love that. And what a great question. And it's so true. Love binds everyone together. And this is where I think now being a mom and showing that like the love that you never knew one can experience for a little human, right? It's like that's your like everything, the whole mama bear concept. But with love and community, it's just again showing that the kindness, the support, the mentality, the love really does drive all in business and community, because it's without that passion, the love for yourself, for others, that kindness, where you just want to be there to support. And I was just sharing with my daughter today, like, even though people be mean, you got to show them some love, because maybe they're going through something and they didn't have the love, or they're missing something that they just needed someone to just give them that affection, attention, whatever it might be, but just know that they've been seen and heard. I think that is so important, and that is such a like a human need, right? That we all need. That whole, and then I love how you share that. It is all stems from love. And I think the more that we can come together to love ourselves, to love others, it helps unify so much more. And you don't see all the biases that are out there because now you're just rating the human based on the human experience. Like, what are you bringing to the table as human to human, right? Despite all the other outside stuff. And I love is the center of it all. So I think that is a great way to end, especially as we go into Valentine's Day. It's just spreading the love, showing kindness, and I think that is the way of the world. If we can somehow get there, humanity would be in a way better place.
Absolutely. I love that human to human. Now, Amanda,
Yeah.
as we prepare to wrap up, um, what would you say? You have educated us so much on today as far as the importance of networking and building community, building collaboration in order to grow. So, what would you say, maybe to those individuals that, as you said, that kind of that workplace security is not necessarily a given anymore. So, what would you say for those who are looking to step into their dream, either a different dream career or even to step into that dream business, but they just haven't taken that leap of faith, as you made mention of earlier today? What tip, what encouragement or resource would you give to those individuals to say, you know what, you need to go ahead and take that leap? What would you say to them?
I would say, find somebody that's doing the business or being in the industry that you're passionate about. Find someone that's going to, provide a mentorship, even going to your chamber of commerce, whatever city, state that you live in, and talk to the entrepreneurs that are in the room. Like, really put yourself out there, be willing to be vulnerable. And that's why, we promote at Jelly Social. Like, what is your ask? How can we help you? Right? Be willing to make that ask because sometimes we don't know one, what to ask, how to ask, and like, what are we doing right now to give back to others? So as you're making that shift, I would say, and even creating your business plan, just so that way you don't go out there blind. They have a business model canvas that you can download. It's a one pager where as you're having your ideas, sketch it out, put it down on paper, and then connect with people that have been doing it. Because you don't need to reinvent the wheel these days. People, if you thought about it, I'm sure somebody's already doing it, but just go and explore their page, right? Read the books. I think like someone I was talking to the other day, they're like, I don't really have a mentor. They're looking for one. I'm like, turn to personal development books like John C. Maxwell, Tony Robbins. There's so many Jim Rohns, right? There's so many great mentors out there that right now we can tap into their books into their leadership. Like they went through the journey. So it's like, why have to go through all the hardships? So just learn and kind of download it all and then apply it. Take action because we could be forever students, right? And I call it networking junkies too. Like we go out there, we network, but like, what are you doing to use all this knowledge to apply to your business? But you need to take the action steps to move forward. So I would say for those that are really exploring that from entrepreneur, like take the leap of faith, start doing it part-time, spare time, but to work on your business like a job, right? Like however hard you're working at your job, when you come home from that 5 to 9 or whatever time, plug in, block out a couple hours and dive into developing yourself and your business. And before you know it, just word of mouth, going to these networking events, even in the evening time, it'll be so rewarding for them that finally they'll have something they're building on them for the side and to give them that peace of mind. And again, boost that confidence that, hey, I'm actually doing something and I'm getting good results and people are resonating with this and they need to see that. Test it. I say the whole jelly model, throw it out there and see what sticks, right? Until we do, we don't know. So might as well throw it as no harm. So go with the whole go for no strategy. Just keep going at it. And then before you know it, you'll be in a great place. So you have an amazing community to support you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Amanda, in the same vein, let's talk about what tip, what encouragement or resource would you give to someone who's already living the dream? They've already taken the leap. They've already done all of the development, and they're in that dream career or they started that dream business, but they might be feeling a little stuck or frustrated right now. What would you give to them? What tip, what encouragement or resource would you give to those who are already living the dream?
If you're living the dream, I would say, surround your people that are doing yourself better than you. That's the thing. If you're already, created a level of success, there's $1 million earner in our company where he's like, I thought I made it. I was like, all right, I'm earning $1 million a year. This is fantastic. But then he went into a room where people are earning 5 million, 10 million. And he was like, whoa, okay. Like it just kind of like humbled me where I'm like, okay, like I can be doing more. I can be doing better. So I think it's like getting yourself a position in rooms that maybe you're not comfortable with. Maybe you think that they're past your caliber or whatever. But I think being in rooms with people that are more successful than where you're at right now will help bring you up, right? Because then you're just seeing what's possible. Like we say 2025, we should be dreaming bigger. So like I'm thinking, yeah, I want to earn $10,000 a month. And then this guy from our company is like, 10,000? Why are we earning $1 million a month? I'm like, oh, all right. Why not? Right? So
Why
it's
not?
like, why, yeah, like, why dream so small? He's like, yeah, the whole 10x model. So I think, getting yourself involved in rooms that you can have these conversations. So the whole circle of influence, positioning yourself with, other mentors, turning to books. If you are stuck, go check out a podcast because they might speak something and you're like, man, that's it. Okay, that's what I need to do. So I think, my thing is personal development, listening to a good book, a good audio. I download Audible. So listening to 10 pages of a good book every day. That's good. Having your affirmations in the morning. Just, again, that posture where you wake up and you get your mind right and you reset your tone for the day. So we all go through those ruts, but I think, having something positive that's bringing you back into focus, that is so important to help us refuel ourselves. And even taking that time as entrepreneur, we run on empty all the time. So sometimes we do need to take that moment to refuel ourselves so we can help others and move forward. So it's taking hopefully that those opportunities where it comes up. But I would say, again, surrounding yourself with experts like yourself and having these kind of conversations. Be like, yeah, okay, that's where I was stuck. Thank you. We just need to sound it out. We just need a sounding board.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for giving us that insight, those tips, those
Right.
resources. Thank you so much. Now, Amanda, you have a free gift for us on today. You are providing an opportunity for our listening audience to be able to create their brand story with your jelly bot. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so right now we're actually doing a women's leadership cohort for a group out of Nova Scotia. They're actually called Onsite for the women leaders in the room. Check them out because they have great workshops and information that they can share. So with Jelly Social, we created Jelly Bot using AI technology. So you can go to jellysocial.ca. So it's JELLYSOCIAL.ca and then take the 30-second challenge. So it's going to ask you a series of questions, about 5 questions. So, the more detail you provide, the more information, the better story you receive. You can do it multiple times, but then it's going to help you craft your brand story. Because as I say, we all have such a powerful story in us. We just don't know how to articulate it. And especially as a startup company, as a new entrepreneur, you're like, man, how do I share my story? How do I put a bio together? Sometimes we put it so standard, like I worked here, I did this here. But there's so much more, right? As to what helped you evolve into your entrepreneurship journey, even to a small business owner, or even something that you might be passionate about, starting your passion project. And that's something that, or nonprofit or charity, whatever it might be. But Jelly Social, going to the Jelly Bot can help you craft that story. So then when you are in a room with somebody, you want to wait to introduce yourself. It just gives you better posture and making a better impression. What sets you apart from somebody else doing a similar service or product, right? So it's you. We are that differentiator. So this is where we want to help create our personal brand and set ourselves apart from all the other people that are doing the things out there. But people get, again, it comes down to who you know, you like, you trust you. Whoever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever you put out there into the ether, people will connect with you because you're you. And whatever you're marketing or whatever you're selling, they're just going to want to help support you because they love the work, they love the passion, and Jellybot's going to help them create and craft that to get them those opportunities.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for providing this awesome opportunity for
Oh,
our
you're
listening audience
welcome.
on today. We're going to make sure that that information is in the bio. Well, I tell you, Amanda, I have loved our conversation on today. It was so powerful, so inspiring, and thank you so much. So as we move forward into 2025, what last words would you like to give our audience to keep us moving forward in strength and power and passion? What would you give us as your last and
I would
closing words?
say, closing words, I say 2025, dream bigger. Let's make this year the most epic year we've ever experienced in our lifetime to really set that momentum, set that foundation to fuel us in the coming years. So I believe 2025 is such an empowering year for all of us. It's just going down to our focus. So, but I think dream bigger, right? I think that's the motto of the day. Just dream bigger this year, go bigger, and you'll do amazing things. So the whole 10x, like go all in, 10x everything that we're doing. And then before the end of the year, we'll look back and be like, wow, I can't believe I actually accomplished that. So I hope that everyone, achieves their greatness and whatever they're working on as well. But I believe it's possible. So I know your belief in yourself. You just got to believe and you will achieve.
Awesome, awesome. So you hear that, listening audience? Dream bigger for 2025. Go all in and believe in yourself. Well, Amanda, it was such an honor to have you on today. Thank you for joining us. Well, ladies, we want to say thank you so much for joining us. Remember to connect with our guest, Amanda, and her free gift. So you can connect with her on her website at amandarussell.legalshieldassociate.com. You may also connect on her Jelly Social, which is www.jellysocial.ca. You may also email her at amandarussellppl@gmail.com. And please give her a call at 416-320-0256. And be sure to connect with Amanda on social media. You can connect with her on LinkedIn at Amanda Russell, as well as on Instagram at Amanda Connect. And be sure to book that Zoom discovery meeting. You could do so at calendly.com/Amanda Connects. And please do not forget to take full advantage of her complimentary gift, an opportunity to create your brand story with her AI Jellybot. So you can learn more and visit her website, www.jellysocial.ca. Now, leaders, do you have an important story to tell that would inspire others to step into their dream career or business? If so, check the bio to learn how to become one of my special guests. And the holidays are over, but it is still the most wonderful time of the year, and I want to help you celebrate your loved ones and your team with My Journey to Wholeness book series and gift collection featuring my new book, My Journey to Wholeness, Love the Success Factor. So please visit my author's corner at Teresa K page at squarespace.com so you can check out my book gift sets, home decor, glassware, journals, sportswear, and so much more. That's all designed with inspiring messages to remind you of what love can empower you to do. So new subscribers to my website, you will receive a 10% promo code to utilize at checkout. So please check the bio to learn more. So we want to say thank you all for joining in for another episode of the Women's Leadership Mindset Series. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, here's to the journey, and let's move forward.